All right. So East Coast rap is actually just called New York rap, because the other parts of the East Coast have their own region. So when someone says East Coast, they are generally talking about New York, and because not many rappers are from like Massachusetts or Maine or Washington, they sort of have their own thing. Like what's that guy's name? Goldlink. He so he's a part of like the Moombatoon movement, which isn't a part of East Coast rap. So things like that. And it did actually originally start at block parties in New York City. People were just like out on the streets, just listening to sort of like that boom bap style, like that really old school stuff. And then it just sort of got bigger and bigger, and it dominated the world of hip hop, especially in the 80s and 90s. This was like the golden era of rap.
Yeah.
We had Rakim, Eric B. We had the Wu-Tang Clan, Tribe Called Quest, guys like that, all really coming up and sort of dominating the scene. And they really had the stranglehold on the West Coast, because the West Coast came in slightly later and a more friendly sound. The West Coast was a bit more, like the content was similar, but the beats were a lot airier, a lot more flush, where New York was quite hard hitting, and sort of that boom bap style. We had Wu-Tang obviously, but all the members, Raekwon the Chef, Jizza, RZA, Ghostface, ODB, a lot of guys really coming through. Obviously we had Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z, and then moving into today, A$AP Rocky, or the whole A$AP mob.
Yeah.
Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun, Conway the Machine,
6ix9ine,
6ix9ine, Bobby Shmurda. I didn't even write them. You unlocked my potential there. Yeah, guys like that. Joe Badass, guys like that. Some of the biggest names have come from either coast, and that's sort of like a constituent of what happens when something comes to America.
Yeah.
When something comes to America, no matter what it is, if it's fashion, it's always on the coast, because it comes from outside Europe or Africa, and it comes in, and the first port of call is the coast, obviously. So you got the East Coast, New York, Florida, Philadelphia, and stuff like that. Pennsylvania. And then you've got
Pennsylvania just makes you think of Russians.
and then you've got on the west, obviously,
like LA,
Los
California.
Angeles, California.
Yeah.
Moving up into sort of even places like Seattle, very fashion forward places like that. And it never really gets to the middle. It takes ages to get to the middle. Like, is there any rappers from like Oklahoma and Kansas, like right in that middle part? I don't know. Maybe
only thing I can really think of is like I forget the name, which is annoying me, but Andre 3K.
Like from Atlanta.
Yeah.
So that's still that's like
still off to the
mainly
side a bit,
inland.
yeah.
Yeah. So like it's slowly going in, and obviously we have Chicago, Texas, and the South, which is sort of on the East Coast anyway, because like Florida rappers are technically counted as the South.
Yeah, even though they're on the
they're
side.
right on the coast. Yeah.
The South got something to say.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really good is they're still releasing music. Jay-Z released an album last year. Nas released an album last year. A Tribe Called Quest released an album after 15 years, like 3 or 4 years ago. It could be even later than that. 2015, I think. 2015 or 2016. What was it called? Thank You for Your Service or something like that. It was sort of like
That
a
does sound
politically
about-
charged album talking about Donald Trump. So yeah, it would have been around 2016 when he first came in. Things like that. So it's really great that like a lot of these West Coast artists, icons, don't really release music anymore.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Dre hasn't released. He's obviously still producing, just nowhere near as much as he had. E40, very limited exposure. Obviously,
Dr.
still
Dre
does.
he hasn't released many albums anyway.
Yeah, at all. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What is it, 2 or 3?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And he has like a compilation album and stuff like that. And Ice Cube hasn't released in a while.
Had a new Ice Cube album would be lit.
Yeah. So that's one really great thing about New York is it sort of doesn't really go away, and I'm sure it will. But we're sort of blooding in a new generation. Westside Gunn's already released about 40 albums, but he says he doesn't want to rap too much longer, so maybe he won't. But East Coast rap has undergone, I'm not sure, undergone a lot of changes over its very short lifespan. The 70s is when it came in. So we had the lyrical, dense rappers, Rakim and Eric B, obviously Nas, stuff like that. And then we moved to a more conscious style, which was the Beastie Boys, and some songs we reviewed. We have reviewed Public Enemy, guys like that. And then we moved into the more grimy, sort of boom bap, hard-hitting, street-style rap, which is Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine.
6ix9ine.
Yeah, 6ix9ine. Guys back then were like Cool G Rap, Flatbush Zombies now, sort of that mafioso style, that really hard-hitting, sort of like, because New York's sort of ingrained in like the mafia, like sort of like the street crime, sort of stuff like that. And yeah, in today's landscape, we got Flatbush Zombies. One guy's escaping my mind right now. He's the guy with the bandana over his face. I reviewed him earlier in the year. I can't remember.
I don't know. You mentioned him when we were recording last night, but I don't think we said his name either. Oh, no, that was in Celebrity Heads. You said, do I have a mask over my face?
Oh, no. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. No, I can't remember who I'm thinking of right now. He's got the mask on. He used to be with Griselda, but then he left. He released an album, and it was like the artwork was like a painting, and it had a mask on as well. I can't remember. Him, Flatbush Zombies, Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, guys like that. And in terms of style, New York is obviously known for lyrical complexity, dexterity, sort of being able to go anywhere with the flow, bend and blend words, and keep you on your toes. It's a very open style. They can sort of like, what I think of New York rap, I think of people throwing words at someone and then just rapping. You know how they do that on like radio shows and stuff like that. I think that's just how New York rap was sort of built. And you can really hear that on my favorite New York song of all time, One Mic by Nas. I'm going to read my favorite. This is one of my favorite verses of all time.
I like this.
It's on One Mic, which is on the Stillmatic album, which followed Illmatic. The sequel, they didn't come right after each other. This was when he was trying to kill Jay-Z, but they made up. Anyone knows the famous Ether track, which is where if someone says you got ethered, means you got killed, because Nas destroyed Jay-Z on the track Ether. But let's talk about One Mic, one of the greatest songs in my opinion, and my favorite New York song, so I'm going to read it here. All I need is one blunt, one page and one pen, one prayer, tell God forgive me for one sin. Matter of fact, maybe more than one. Look back at all the hatred against me. Fuck all of them. Jesus died at age 33. That's 33 shots. From twin Glocks, that's 16 apiece. That's 32. Which means one of my guns was holding 17. 27 hit your crew, 6 went into you. Everybody gotta die sometime. Hope your funeral doesn't get shot up. Bullets tear through the innocent. Nothing's fair. Neighbors roll up, shooting from wheelchairs. My heart is racing, tasting revenge in the air. Life is a shit slide for too many years. No, letting shit slide for too many years, too many times. But now I'm strapped with a couple of Macs, too many 9s. If your neighbor's really with me, get busy, load up the semis. Do more than just hold it, explode the clip until you're empty. There's nothing in our way. They bust, we bust. They rush, we rush. Lead flying, feel it? I feel it in my gut. That's hard. That's hard. One of the greatest verses of all time. And just the way Nas says it, cold, calculated, slicing through. Today's New York landscape, very diverse. Obviously, A$AP Rocky sounds nothing like any of this. And Benny the Butcher and Westside Gunn sort of sound like a more refined version of like what Loke, the LOX was doing, what Killer Cam was doing, what these guys were doing from Brooklyn and from Queens, like the more grimier side of New York. So yeah, they're sort of streamlining, and it's just going back in cycles. We started with the lyrical with guys like Nas, Rakim, and then we went into the grimy side with AZ, who's worked with Nas a lot. With I said them before. Where did it go? I can't even remember. Like Jizza, Kool G Rap, guys like that. And I'm gonna leave today's segment with 5 artists you need to listen to and 5 albums. Nas, Jay-Z, Rakim, Gangstar, and A Tribe Called Quest.
And 6ix9ine.
And 6ix9ine. And albums: Illmatic by Nas, Ready to Die by Biggie, Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest, Only Built for Cuban Links by Raekwon the Chef, and Liquid Swords by Jizza. So there you go. And what is our next segment? Moving swiftly
Seriously,
on.
who names himself Jizza?
Jizza. Can't tell you, mate. I don't have a problem with it.